Sailing forward towards the North Pole as we continue here. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. It can be a lot of work, so I hope now, in between now and New Year's, you're getting a tiny bit of rest. Welcome back, Artist Journal, December 28th, 2023, broadcasting from the Christmas of the Mind, deep in inner space in Berlin, Germany. My name's Adrian Pocobelli, and happy holidays. Happy holidays. Look at this beautiful work by Emilia Fantasia, and I'm going to speed through this show so both of us can get back to our holidays. And quick show note, I am going to Portugal on Saturday, and I'll be there for the week, so probably no shows next week, but there will be a Twitter space, a wonderful guest, a huge guest, announce it now, Robness V2. Looking back on 2023 and looking ahead at 2024, I couldn't think of someone I'd rather have to start the year there to discuss those things. The ever-interesting Robness V2, so thrilled that Robness accepted, so that should be super fun and interesting. That is coming up this Wednesday. I'll put out the tweet probably on the weekend sometime where you can set the reminder. So let's go. Emilia Fantasia with this awesome work here, this digital painting. And it really does feel like a painting here. Look at how expertly done here. And a new discovery for me. I didn't know about this artist till Neutro Arts posted it as part of their Secret Santa post. And look at how beautifully done it is. This like pine tree or, Christmas tree here, all the little needles. And then that is mirrored in this Christmas decoration here. Just beautifully done. And of course, food is always an interesting subject. And it's kind of like, it's a variation, you might say, on those like Dutch still lifes, of course. But what's kind of boring about Dutch still lifes is it always seems to be a head-on front composition, right? Like where you get the the lobster and whatever drink, and it always feels like the same composition. Here we are kind of looking down. There's this diagonal table. And you have this fun Christmas decoration kind of snaking through it. You have this almost Christmas tree in the foreground sort of thing going on. Just very fun and cool. There's some lemon. Interesting use of black outline too, I might add, kind of used sparingly, right? Like used here and there. This person really seems to know what they're doing as an illustrator. Like you see how kind of roughly done this red wine is here, but it still looks great, or loosely done, I should say. Even here, how loosely done this olive thing is. And funny how these olives are almost floating in midair. I mean, there's a touch of surrealism in this work here. Just a hint. I mean, here's another part of this kind of like fantasy surrealism or supernatural where the champagne is kind of fizzing over, but moving over into the, is that a tequila glass or martini glass? Just kind of interesting. And just beautiful, fun, gorgeous work. And guess how much? Edition of 8 for only a Tezos. So flying under the radar clearly. Clearly, Sidra and Melon, let's toast and hug each other. Let's sing until everything fades. Kind of a bit of a Dark Night Christmas here, Dark Night of the Soul Christmas thing going on here too. Emilia Fantasia, 1 Tezos. I may pick this up if I remember when I finish recording this show, the meats and everything. Just a gorgeous piece. Always something new to discover on Tezos here. And this artist, again, a new discovery for me, has been minting since May 12th, 2023. La Cena, I think that's candle. I could be wrong about that. And just beautifully done here. Again, so loose, so rough, but the process works. Once you have your process down, you can kind of do whatever you want within that process. And what I mean by that is, see these marks? Maybe I can make this bigger. Perfect. See these marks here? Like, it's not like, this isn't like ballet where you have to get the thing perfect and then it's good. Here, the process is, okay, I put a layer down in this paint and then I get a little bit more in this kind of turquoise, dark turquoise paint. Then I'm going to put some, what looks like colored pencils, kind of textured thing over here, but not everywhere. And then I'm going to put just like almost like a pen marker or a really thin marker over here. And it doesn't matter because the process is there. So it doesn't matter each tiny little stroke. What matters is the big picture here. And you zoom out and you say, wow, like look at how loose this is, right? This person really, and you know what that communicates to me as an artist? This person knows what they're doing. This person has a process, and that process works. And therefore, they are able to get pretty darn nice works, right? So that doesn't, happen by itself. It happens with a lot of work, and it's also a way of approaching art, of building an image, right? And that also, like, it reveals a lot. So again, just a really cool artist here, Emilia Fantasia. And let's actually bring up the page quickly here. So here are the works. Again, not a ton of works here. So again, just since May, doing pretty good though. Mixed media artist, and this is where I discovered it, was from Neutro Arts, who is doing the Christmas drop on Tezos. And there it is. So very cool. And there's the credit, art by Emilia Fantasia. Thank you, everybody who came to the Runetoon Holiday Special, the Runetoon and Friends Holiday Special. And it really was. I was thrilled with everybody that came on stage, Tukes and everybody, Slime and everybody. Just happy holidays. Thank you, everybody. It was fascinating to hear, if who knew that Runetoon is a reference to Herman Melville and Moby Dick. So how cool is that? So Runetoon, I put a whole different spin on Runetoon's name. And if you want to learn more about the co-host of these spaces, Runetoon, and his kind of artistic genesis, this is your show. So again, thank you, Runetoon, and everybody for an awesome, very fun show. And this came up during the show. I was discussing kind of early on my favorite Christmas movie, A Christmas Carol, starring Alistair Sim, 1951. I almost watch it every year. This year I never watched it, but almost every year. It's kind of my go-to. I find it such a powerful story. I've read the book by Charles Dickens. I actually find, it's one of those rare situations where the movie is better, in my opinion, than the book. And I like the book a lot. I think the book's very powerful. But I think it's Alistair Sim, that guy right there who plays Scrooge. Just a very powerful story of this grouchy guy who's all about himself. After, the dreams of with the visited by the ghost of Christmas present, past, and future, all of a sudden with that insight, and all of a sudden can see with new eyes, completely transformed, and everything changes. It's quite an interesting thing. It's almost like, not to go too far on this, but I've been thinking about this the last few days, where I was sort of like lazy on the couch, just kind of not wanting to get up. And then all of a sudden, just through mental power alone, all of a sudden, I was just like, be inspired and just feel that energy coursing through the nervous system. And all of a sudden, I wasn't tired at all. And I could move and everything. And, it's the power of the spirit. Mind, thoughts come first, as Brian Tracy says. But let's not get too far off topic. We have a lot to get through and not much time here. Thank you, everybody who picked this up. Hollywood's meanest celebs ranked. Now, as far as, you might not be able to see this on your object. It kind of has this object censorship thing. I think I have to join the Discord. I was told like several months ago. I have to join the Discord because I have another work. It's like a Lego work that was censored because I think the algorithm thinks there's nudity here because of maybe there's a lot of skin color, I think is what's going on there. So in case you're wondering, thank you to everybody who picked it up, this work. Runetoon, Haiti Rocket, Clint Fulkerson, OXMQQ, and Awheck. Thank you. I'm really enjoying that series. And thank you to Scomra for picking up New Balance 574, part of the Pixel Art Sketchbook. More where that came from. I can't wait to make more of these. It's a very fun way of working as well there. And thank you to everybody, the art collecting community on Solana. It was a very welcoming community over there. I was just sort of messing around, and I was like on Christmas Eve. Where was it? Christmas the 20. Must have been the 23rd turning the 24th because the auction ended a day later. Literally Christmas Eve at like 11:45 p.m. At least Berlin time, which I thought was kind of hilarious. Not planned, and I'm just like, I was totally very impressed at just the community itself, the welcoming of the community. Jim Roll, who opened the bids, Rosatio, this anonymous wallet, all sorts of bids here. I went for 1.3 Sol, and it got me thinking, like, as we're going to see in some tabs here, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but people can complain or criticize, and there are legitimate issues, let's say, with centralization in Solana. But I don't think we should be dogmatic about centralization either. Like, the fact is we need to also see something decentralized that works, that doesn't cost $50 to put, to make a bid. Because I wondered to myself, just from an artist perspective, I don't think I would have got this on Tezos, $144, and I don't think, and on ETH, like, the fees would have eaten up 80% of this. Like, if you looked at the fees of the person bidding, you wouldn't have gotten 8 bids, because people go, well, do I want to spend $30 or $40 to bid? So all very interesting. And again, at the end of the day, I'm hoping for a decentralized, sort, like, I'm kind of a Polkadot guy at the end of the day. I think, and there's some interesting news on that, actually, with all this inscription business. But all to say, thank you to the Solana community. Very fun welcome. And I'll be minting maybe even later today again. Really just fun. And it was just about the art and having fun. Really just pleased, and it was fun to get so many bids. Like, how cool is that? So again, thank you. And this was sent out. It's probably the last time I'll ever do special mechanics. My mechanic on this was, this is Ascent 3, and if you bought Ascent 1 or 2 by today at noon, I would send you this third one. It was too confusing for me and a couple other people, and I just thought, next time I will just send it out, or just put it for sale, or who knows what. But all to say, thank you for those that picked up one of the other 2, August Ground, and that was sent to you as well. And here are comments. Let's just make this big for the holiday special. And Terry Visual, basically a big Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So thank you, Terry, to you and JNK. I find it thrilling to hear from you guys, some of my absolute favorite artists out there. Stip and Pixel, 100% independently organized by... So I think this is the Zora Christmas drop, which we're looking at. Thank you, Stipin. Curated by 3 friends. Special Christmas with some artists from around the world trending on Zora. 12 gifts, 12 artists, 12 free mints. And thank you, Gogolitis, Kyle Flemmer, Yolantis, and Santiago Izzacodal. And for the season's greetings, and likewise, and also Tarunya, thank you very much for giving review to Zora's Christmas Memories. We send you many greetings. Thank you. Stip and Pixel, Fabric 2, and Pinky Blue, season's greetings, happy holidays. And here, let's just see, thank you, JNK, and awesome One of One, those guys at One of One, which I still need to actually, maybe I'll do that this week. I need to, I'm not going to talk about that, actually. Continuing on, thank you for all the comments, everyone. And Strange Thing, Kells, everybody. This is actually great to hear, Kells. Wow, great to hear your thoughts on McKenna, Ballard, etc. I could listen to that stuff all day. It was discussed very early on. Actually, not that early on, maybe halfway through our journey here. So about, let's say, 6 or 7 months ago. I'm tempted to do some lectures on just six or seven lectures, maybe, depending on how long they would take, on Ballard's Atrocity exhibition, because it's actually a really hard... I could do I did my master's thesis on that, pretty much wrote a book, and so I could talk on that. That would be... I'm tempted to do that. Even make it a course at, like, Coursera. You charge $10 or something, or who knows, maybe you make it free. Let's see. To me, Terence McKenna is and was unmatched in his extemporaneous musings, especially in the last interview video. You know, it's interesting. I know that last interview. I think I do. I don't remember it being a video though. I remember the last interview audio, and he was talking about, this is a very important, and he talked about this in some of his other lectures, but how the Neoplatonists for him were the psychedelic philosophers, and that's always been very interesting to me. He actually got a couple of the dates wrong in that last interview. It was very memorable for me because I think he was saying like 5th century or something AD when Plotinus was like 3rd century AD. But maybe he was talking about the other Neoplatonists. Who knows? Love what you're doing here, Adrian. Watched 6 or 7 earlier vids yesterday. Wow. So direct, sincere, and positive. Infectious energy. Thanks. Thank you, Kells. Great to hear. So thank you, everybody, for the comments. Just wanted to note this. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this. New York Times sues Microsoft ChatGPT maker OpenAI over copyright infringement. Now, of course, this was a big headline yesterday, and I just noted in passing, because if New York Times wins this suit against OpenAI, because of course the claim is, which is probably true, that OpenAI probably read all of the information, and then now, I mean, I think the New York Times is right, but I hope they don't win. Because basically all that I think, in a weird way, one way of looking at ChatGPT is they figured out how to present information with a really nice UI and like the chat bot. They figured out the chat part of it, so they could just take everything in the world, copyright or not, and then put it out in this kind of like new format, which is the chat bot, and then say, hey, here's the information. So I think this is interesting from an art perspective. We deal with a lot of AI art here because if the New York Times wins this suit, I suspect art will not be far behind in terms of artists getting involved. But man, is that messy. That is messy. And this was a ginormous story here. Mickey Mouse, long a symbol in copyright wars, to enter public domain. It's finally happening. This is something that has been discussed since, like, I've been hearing about this since I was 15, and how Disney, was extending the copyrights. And as Jennifer Jenkins says here, director of the Duke Center for the Study of the Public Domain, this is a big one. It's generating so much excitement in the copyright community. It's finally happening. And does it say here, because, again, Disney has been fighting this, as far as I understand, tooth and nail. And now it sounds like it's just there's nothing else they can do. Because as far as I understood the law, at least it used to be 50 years before something went into the public domain. That's why you could see A Christmas Carol there on YouTube. Because as far as I understand, the copyright is no longer. But look at this. The celebrations are relatively recent. After Congress extended copyright terms in 1998, 20 years went by when nothing entered the public domain. Works began to lose copyright protection again in 2019, and since then it's been open season on The Great Gatsby, Rhapsody in Blue, and Winnie the Pooh. So that is really interesting, isn't it? And of course, for those that are kind of underground comics aficionados like Robert Crumb, shout out to Rada. This is a very famous, underground comic. You see, it's a parodying Dell Comics, but it says Hell. And of course, these beautiful. This is a classic with Mickey Mouse here, 1971, portrayed as a drug smuggler. And so, of course, that guy ran into a lot of problems. Like, Disney really went after them. They used to be very aggressive about it. So that is a huge deal, what's going on there. Now, I don't know, before you start making your Mickey Mouse animations or comics or drawings and selling them commercially, find out the date, because it sounds like it's about to happen. Maybe it's January 1st. Maybe, but do check on that. This is super interesting. So again, we're talking about Solana, decentralization, everything. This is super interesting. So Cigar put this tweet out on December 18th. Inscriptions have taken down multiple chains and caused huge gas spikes over the last couple of days. And of course, we know inscriptions from Bitcoin, but now there are different ways of inscribing apparently on other chains, especially like Ethereum. Very few people understand what's going on. Here's an explanation of inscriptions. So ordinals on Bitcoin allow data to be inscribed directly on chain. This can be text, images, video. So they actually allow that, which is really interesting. This is the only way for BTC or Bitcoin to add support for NFTs and other tokens that don't support smart contracts. People then realized they could do the same thing on Ethereum and other EVM-based chains. Instead of inscribing data on individual sats, EVM inscriptions inscribe data in transaction call data. Call data is optional data that can be sent in a transaction. So there are ways of putting this information onto Ethereum type smart contract cryptos without doing the smart contract way, but just by putting it within this like call data. Most of the time, this data is used when passing inputs to smart contracts. It's also used for rollup data. It is read-only and cheap to use, especially when compared to storing data in a smart contract state. So all very interesting. And for those that follow this, I always talk about Polkadot. The Polkadot started moving right as this was happening, or right after this started to happen, because I saw another tweet, and this is just my impressions of what I'm seeing. I saw another tweet where it's like they were getting spammed too, like a lot of these other chains, but it was only using like 3% of their block space or whatever it is. So Polkadot just cruised right along, no problem, and very decentralized, Polkadot, from my understanding. So all very interesting. And this is another additional comment on inscriptions. The sad thing about inscriptions is you lose all forms of on-chain programmability. So someone, Jalil, pointing out that you don't get the programmability with inscriptions, but I mean, I thought to myself though, like how many works of art are we going to see on today, and I'd venture to say none, that are using on-chain programmability? Like that's a pretty specific requirement or feature set that I think hardly anybody uses. So it's quite interesting, right? Because the so-called medium of these, how we buy and trade, I mean, it's there are competing ways of thinking about this. It's important for us to recall or to understand. Jim Roll. It's surreal. So again, shout out to Jim Roll, who was the opening bid on my work there that we were looking at, that Road Sunset. It's surreal to see people criticizing Solana. I understand intellectually why it happens, yet it's weird to me because like so many of my friends, it's been, my life for the last couple of years, just heads down and working, creating, studying art, meeting friends, supporting artists, learning, trying, ups and downs. Now, suddenly, we're all bad artists and flashes in the pan. Well, we just been grinding here, y'all, for years. Join in and see what's up, or have your opinions and FUD away all you want, but an open mind is a powerful thing. Indeed. Open eyes, open heart, open mind. You need to open that door or you miss the light. And yeah, like I was just saying, like my experience was just very positive. And, I just think it's so early to a certain degree. Like, I mean, and I wish I had that comment. Actually, Ahek left a comment saying concern about Solana's centralization as well. And I just, I think it's fair to be concerned. Put it this way, the way I would see it is if it starts to become a problem, then okay, then maybe you adjust from there. But for me to start going, I'm never going to mint on Solana because maybe one day in the far future or in the 5-10 years from now, this could lead to a bad thing. I feel like it's a bridge too far. And there's a whole, I don't know if I was mentioning this, but I was thinking this, artists go where it's kind of like in finance. They say money goes where it's treated best. Right now, Solana is probably, you see Spiegel's on there, you see Rini, we're going to see some works on there. Some people are doing fabulously, making tons of money, and it's great. this should not be seen as a greedy thing, because I just would say, like, I don't hear any artists saying this is greedy, because the reality is, and it's easy to forget, there's nothing greedy about being an artist. Okay, like you're leaving all sorts of money on the table being an artist. Okay, so if people are like, oh, they're just after the money, it's like, yeah, they're trying to survive because they're artists. Okay, because they don't make any money. Okay, that's what I would argue. So it's easy for non-artists to start saying, oh, well, how dare you? It's like, try being an artist for 10 years, 20 years, and then get back to me and then tell me, oh, this is greedy. So continuing on, Mikkel Nolson. And thank you for the retweet, Mikkel Nolson, who basically, introduced me in some respects to the Solana community with that retweet. Some folks make stuff, some folks are drawn to that, some have no interest. It really isn't worth the energy trying to pander to or entice the uninterested. And the ones that advertise their lack of interest, well, they are doing something else entirely. So again, Solana coming under a lot of kind of pressure and scrutiny, and just again, all I'll say is pretty nice peeps and very generous in their bidding. I felt I'll happily mint there again, and might even do that tonight. Let's continue here. Bullseye. Impossible to ignore the negative sentiment towards Tezos right now. When was this done? December 27th. But I, for one, am here to stay. I love the art more than ever, and I still love being a part of this community. To quote Chris Wallace, quote, I collect mostly on Tezos because I believe it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to amass a truly meaningful collection from the great artists of our time. End quote. Hype comes and goes, so just be patient and stick to your convictions. I think this is I agree. I hope it's true. Let's put it this way. I hope it's true, but it kind of feels that way. This really does feel like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is what I used to say like a year ago, basically. Like, I can't believe, the middle class never gets this opportunity to collect the artists of our time for this cheap. So very interesting and powerful thought there. Cosmo de Medici, to those who really claim to be chain agnostic, show me your Cardano NFTs. Well, I may mint on DOT. I'm looking at that now. Cardano, no, I do not have any Cardano NFTs, but if Cardano starts mooning, you can bet there's going to be artists that go there. And interestingly, there are Cardano. Again, as I've always said here, multi-chain, multi-platform, multimedia. Robness V3. I guess it is V3. It was a choice between Solana or eBay. I chose eBay, and I found a centralized company with an immaculate 28-year track record that has rarely let us down. That's internet quality, folks. It's where the strongest centralized provenance lives. Check it out if you're smart. So, of course, this is probably tongue-in-cheek a little bit. Robness has been selling JPEGs on eBay as a kind of conceptual experiment. And here is another one. The multiple manifestations of a young Christ, reserved $300, buy it now $700. This is not an NFT nor a crypto art. This is a JPEG, yo. And then I'm not sure if he sends something in the mail. We'll ask him on the space. We'll have to ask him about this. So here it is on eBay, and it's actually pretty hilarious if you look here. Here's his profile. And I was trying to see more because he's sold 7, but you only can see what is still for sale, interestingly. So cool and interesting and fun. Max capacity. This is super interesting. Okay, object.com, since no one listens to me. What about a subscription service where I, the collector, choose an artist and I pay a fee, flat or variable, to get the art I make within my subscription budget? For example, one of my favorite crypto artists is LB. I would love to set an automatic threshold where I will collect anything within a certain price range. It would be a semi-custodial wallet or something. I'm no dev, but if Fake Rares and Pepe WTF might have insights about a subscription type, wine of the month type subscription. This is something I actually did this, when I was in Toronto, so like probably about 10 years ago. I tried this out as doing a digital art subscription where you'd basically, for $10 a month, or $7 or $8 a month, I think it was, you would get, I think I did like a Google, not slideshow, but album that I would send once a month. and then those works would become a part of your collection. Of course, like before any NFT things, so there was no. So in a sense, from a provenance or a collectability point of view, it didn't make sense, but it was still kind of cool. And this is something, and I'm sure a lot of you have actually thought about this, artists out there. I just think this idea. It has legs, as they would say. I think it's a very interesting idea. The idea of subscription. I mean, right now you could theoretically do it. You put it up on Patreon, and you just say $10 a month, and you get X images per month from Pocobelli, or you do get the $25 a month, and you get XYZ. Right? So interesting, right? But maybe you put it on Object where you collect in Tezos. So interesting. We've been discussing the glory of delightfully small works, and Sabato, and actually quoting Amir Fala, I've been thinking about the scale of digital works and how most think bigger is simply better. It's a very superficial take on art. Some of my favorite artworks in the world are these tiny Philippe Guston paintings. And I assume this is from that Tate show that's on right now that's getting rave reviews. I'm regretting not going when I was in London there. Sabato, especially with regard, Amir, 100% with Amir on this, especially with regard to pixel art, which was designed for modular screens. This year I learned that I'd much rather make pixel art on a 4K canvas than upscale a 640 by 512 pixel drawing to fit a 4K screen. Some things are just meant to be small, and that's great. We've been commenting on that here too. The delight in the delightfully small works we're seeing. This show is already 32 minutes in, so I don't want to go too long on these kind of news items, so to speak. And we're almost done them, but this is quite interesting. Rick Rubin put out this creative book. I haven't listened to it yet, the audiobook, but I have it. A few people have recommended it, but I do think there's an important comment here, which is Andrew Huberman, the podcaster, asks Rick Rubin on Writer's Block, and what Rick Rubin says is, I treat it all like a journal. So I just show up and do my thing and don't worry about the judgment, and I just file my report, so to speak, and then I move on. And so I don't have, Rick Rubin saying, I don't have writer's block because I just do my thing. And maybe it's good, maybe it's okay, whatever. I'm filing my report. And I think philosophically, this is a very strong way of going about being in the world as an artist. That's how I've put out a lot more work recently. This is how I'm treating it. It's like, maybe I don't release every single thing I do, but it's more of I just want to get what's most important for me right now is just continuing to put out work that I'm happy with, and just keep on putting that work out, almost like a journal entry. I just thought a really cool idea. And finally, Luciana Guerra, super happy when beautiful things happen. For those who are still wondering what the utility of the art they collect, this painting was specifically created for David as a wrapping paper of his beautiful art store in New York. So check it out, Luciana Guerra wrapping paper in New York. And look at how great it looks. So how cool is that? So congrats there. Into the art we go, into the NFT digital art we go. Neurocolor. So I haven't seen a new work from Neurocolor for a while. This was minted on December 26, transferred to Anonymous. This is on Super Rare. And of course, Neurocolor, some of those works have gone for like $100,000. So an interesting piece here is we see kind of an underwater theme here, and some sharks and this kind of classic Neurocolor flashing colors in the background here, and some sharks around, just kind of a wild artist here, and interesting kind of pixelated Japanese writing on the side. Who knows what that went for? Private sale there. Pretty interesting piece. And here is a work by Uxine, Burn to Redeem De-Influencer. So this will start in 7 hours here. There are 33 available. And here you see another Uxine work, combining interesting different kinds of brushes here, like a square brush with some spacing, and then some texture here. Some very nice contrasts going on in here, and then some little bit of sampled kind of digital noise here, seemingly. And then there, It looks like a clock on the influencer's forehead there. De-influencer. Interesting work. Hasdrubal Waffle, hi thanks to anyone that minted any waffle Zoras. Have just hit 20 edition with today's mints, which I think is a good number to conclude with. We'll focus on one of ones for the new year. Cheers and thank you and have a safe 2024. So Hasdrubal Waffle has put out a bunch of work on Zora, and then we'll continue with some one of ones. Who knows where? Maybe on Zora, maybe elsewhere. It is always a surprise. And here is some more. So very cool piece here. I don't think there's a title on these. Usually, yeah, exactly. They are icons or emojis as the title. And here are the 20 works. This was one of my favorites here. Sim Exit Hacks was incredible. But as you've seen, I think we've seen most of these on the show. This one I hadn't seen. Actually, maybe we'll open that one. And neither had I seen that one. So all to say, this was awesome too. Yeah, so just a really nice output there by Hasdrubal Waffle on Zora. And there, just interesting piece here. And another interesting piece. Classic. Okay, continuing on. Nami Pacniat, who makes an incredible pixel artist. So highest offer will be accepted on December 27th at 12:30 Eastern after the scheduled space down bid here. And actually, I think I have a larger version of this. Yes, I do. Here, let's... Just a very cool artist. And these great like clouds here. And the music is always really good here. So, very nice piece here. Let's see what's going on the auction. If we can. Now, here is Deca, Temple of Heaven, live owner Everlong. Has this already sold? And then here you can get a poster. How cool is that? So, just interesting everything that's going on here. So I guess this already sold, although maybe it says in the provenance, minted by Everlong. So not exactly sure what's going on. And of course, Nami Pacniat, you might remember from this work we saw in Super Rare. Super awesome artist. Actually, I think I already brought that up. Yeah. Like, the audio is almost like very, for lack of a better term, kind of noisy-esque, and it kind of contrasts nicely with this pixel art, clean pixel art. Gorgeous piece here from Naimi. Continuing on, look who's back, Tradscape, the person who does the music, who made the NFT music where I start and end this show is by Tradscape. And Tradscape has a new work here, The Seven Wretched Sisters of Seven Sisters River, a one of one for 300 Tezos. And so kind of classic video game, kind of really classic Tradscape work here, having kind of video game textures and kind of reference in the visuals, while kind of doing a bit of a semi-mythological, I almost want to say pagan, for lack of a better term, content. Again, this looks like some sort of Greek mythological creature, but nothing that I remember or understand, or that I remember or recall. So all to say, very interesting and black and white, interesting choice. 300 Tezos. This was a brilliantly beautiful work by Sabato under the Marginalia label here, Nativity. I thought this was just beautiful. If Sabato hadn't started so many images on this show, I might have been tempted to go for this. There's so much going on in this that I like, which is it's kind of got this Renaissance feeling to the rocks here in the shading. It's kind of reminiscent of what feels like a Bellini work, and then even the flashing of the baby here, and even the clothes where it's just the pattern, kind of Picasso-esque in that respect. The lighting is beautiful. Not exactly sure what's going on in the background, and then you have this kind of flashing sky. So, but I just think the pixelation, the texture, the light and shadow here, and even these kind of yellowish shadow, it is a gorgeous and kind of seasonal too. Sabato, again, just kind of nails it here. Based on the creche at the Lutheran Christmas Church in Bethlehem in the occupied West Bank, speaking to the news of the time. So powerful work by Sabato. Portrait of Elon Musk. This is Wasteman Goldminovich in the year 2029. I thought this was hilarious. Private jet needs fuel, and there is Elon Musk on the street with a Walmart box and cigarettes and alcohol, and just trying to get by. So, of course, the richest person in the world, as far as I understand. Edition of 11 for $666, and still available on Primary. Nice piece. And this is Wasteman Goldminovich and L'Inquisiteur, who I thought was Wasteman Goldminovich. The Christmas Spirit. Wasteman and L'Inquisiteur send you all the best wishes for the end of this crappy year. And there we see what looks like the failed artist actually hanging out with the Santa there. Really nicely done, actually, in the ground there. Beautiful piece. 12 Tezos, edition of 6. And that is on secondary. Let's just see what happened. Sold out on primary for 3 Tezos. And rare with a Christmas work, Christmas of the Future today. And of course, the Boston Dynamics dog, perhaps referencing the future, and this kind of sad Charlie Brown Christmas tree here, which looks actually maybe like it's a fake. Indeed, with a Pepe on top and a really nice shadow there. That creates a beautiful contrast there. And interesting, just straight up gray background. Very cool. Work there, 85 Tezos on secondary, and sold out. I think accepted top offers around 25 to 40 Tezos. Board Me Social Club, BMSC, A Cold Case. So another surreal work here by Board Me Social Club. A little dark in the background there. A Mickey Mouse and a head that just kind of bleeds off. It melts off into the sky, and a golfer and a checkerboard melting, or a chessboard. So just interesting landscape, surreal landscape from Board Me Social Club. Rainy Fish on exchange.art on Solana. And there is the sound. Let's just make that bigger. So working with this noise, like this visual noise, I want to say, let me see if I can get just in here. This seems to be a new thing. Very cool. And nice music and just everything. Kind of this placenta and these pastel colors. This plant, just really cool. What is it? Digital Love. Great title. And it has bids, right? DavidR.com. So again, another more bidding here. So we'll see what this goes for. But again, this is, if people are wondering why, look, highest bid 1.7. Why are artists going to Solana? Because Solana is bidding. Like, I mean, $172 here. So Rainy Fish puts out, and Rainy Fish, back to our earlier discussion, Rainy Fish has gone full time on her art. So, you know, I'll be the last person to judge, you know, Rainy Fish for trying to make some money and survive, right? So that always has to be kept in mind. It's easy to forget if you're not actually living the life of an artist, okay? It is not easy. Not everybody makes it to that 0.05% where they're rich. Everybody else is just getting by. REM, cool title, and congrats. 1.89 Sol. 50 minutes to go. Congrats to Rainy Fish. Great work. Let's continue here. Lord Neutron, the Red Sunset. So cool, kind of almost Delinean work here by Lord Neutron. And this is on Instagram. Cool colors and everything. Not exactly sure how Lord Neutron makes their work, but I assume there's maybe a little AI in there, but I'm not sure. Just kind of mysterious. Figments, Channel 1. So another awesome work by Cap'n here using this retro software. Beautiful TV here, kind of punk rock looking. And let's see, did this sell out already? And sent out to probably previous owners. And here, Figments, Buthermord 006, and a really cool work here by Figments as well. And let's just see what happened here. Sold out at 10 Tezos each. So nice work from Figments. And this is a collaboration between Leprochant and Cap'n Stalkerhead, which I think is taken from a movie called The Stalker in 1979. So clearly you can see Cap'n's kind of digital pixelated textures here. And maybe the head is Leprochant, maybe a Leprochant composition here. And here's another one, a leaf floating on the algae, kind of also Cap'n and Leprochant. And perhaps this has a bit of a Monet feel to it, doesn't it? Those water lilies. And let's just see what happened here. Sold for 30 Tezos on primary. So pretty reasonable for one of one. And happy holidays, everyone, from Cap'n with playing with a winter scene here in Pixels. Very cool. And a few abstracts so Cap'n's been very prolific here and putting out some interesting work here. So animated abstract there. This is an edition of 8 and selling out at 8 Tezos each. And here's some more. These were open editions. And I think these were maybe 2 Tezos, 22 Tezos cents each, and 24 minted. I mean, not bad at all. And that's a cool thing about doing open editions is you just let the edition, you don't need to worry about how many you're going to make. You just let the market figure it out. Here's another one. And so just playing with the colors here. You can see it's the same composition, just different colors. 15 minted there. And let's just see how many minted on the other one. 13. So, I mean, when you put it all together, 15 plus 13 plus 24, I mean, you're like 53 times 222, and it's $115. Nice work. Continuing on, as we continue the animated abstracts with Back to Basics from Acid Boy. So cool, interesting, different colors here from Acid Boy. I zoomed in on one of them here for us. These are 0.2 ETH each. And you see all the mastery of Acid Boy here in these incredibly beautiful and unique psychedelic abstract works here with this ring going through this, psychedelic vortex. Very impressive. Continuing on Santiago with another very cool, abstract here. It looks huge. I want to open it up, but it might crash my mic, actually. So we'll just have to look at it from here. But as you see, continuing, it looks like a few more textures have been moved in here. Like over here, it continues to evolve, these abstracts here, and interesting size too. It almost looks like a 16 by 9, doesn't it? This is an edition of 15 for 7 Tezos each, and there are 9 left on secondary. Here's Zwozo. Full Moon Feeling. Always excited to see a new Zwozo. Let's see if we can get this working. Just radical over here. Wow. Like the square surrounding like this sun, and then you have almost like a fuzzy or, noisy sun here in the middle with some wild gradients. I mean, again, very bold work. Hangs really well, I think, with like Martin Bruce and other kind of what I almost get tempted to, what I do call indie digital art. Klaus, look at these. Klaus is on a roll. In case you hadn't noticed, Composition 23, another stunning animated abstract here. Just gorgeous. Just all around interesting. There's another one here. Here's, in case you hadn't seen them, really nice series here coming out from Klaus. And I thought I followed Klaus. I do now. And here's another one, Composition 20. And again, just beautiful, kind of noisy pixelation and everything. Just a stunner. So beautiful work there, one of one. I think Somfe's buying most of these, only 12 Tezos. That's probably why. Let's see what this one sold for. Just out of curiosity, 15 to Art Monochrome. Nice purchase. Just great work. Françoise Gamma. This is from the 2009 series Amstrad Mox. So what looks like some kind of code, it looks like a code-based work, maybe, or a keyboard, and then with kind of an animated abstract here. and just kind of slow animation that reveals itself and different colors. So 3 Tezos, edition of 20, 18 left on primary. Interesting piece. Here's another one from the No ROM series, which uses, I think, Nintendo glitch ROMs. So this is an edition of 20 for 3 Tezos. And here you see kind of like a perspective thing going on. Like, what's cool about Françoise Gamma doing, if I understand right, doing glitch ROM is she really pushes it. I think it's a she. She really pushes it to like a next level. Like, she's willing to go a step further, it feels like sometimes, in terms of just the coherence and the abstraction. And I think to great effect, as you see here, just very original piece. Continuing on, Louis Osborne with a auction happening, 3 hours to go at 50 Tezos. And endlessly, never always able to continue this theme of the smiling and the happy and the unhappy face. Here, you have what looks like maybe like a drone of sorts. Is that what that's called? That's keeping the smile going. Always a commentary there too. And there's the person, remote control. I think you call those drones. Continuing on, Adam Hart. By Look Who's Back. It's Limbo. Limbo is back with an edition, and so this is with Super Chief, anime and manga. They're putting out a series, and unfortunately I can't make this bigger until an edition sells, and then I can hit the maximize, but there's no maximize here. So this is what we see now. So classic Limbo with the VHS and DVD on the side, and just more interesting work. Let's see if this loads up. This awesome work by Dana Ulama. See if there's any volume. No volume, but look at that. This might not be new, but I had never seen this before. So just a really cool composition there. Cool vaporwave colors. Good night from Dana Ulama. And here is Nub 1914, Bajo de Arbol. So seemingly Spanish and just playing with some of the... Interestingly, these flowers are being drawn here, and often they're used with the gradient, as actually we're going to see. So just playing with a lot of the tropes that Nuv 1914 likes to do. Here's a teddy bear, and these kind of radical gradients is what I'd call them. Here's another one, Festivo, 1 of 1 for 10 Tezos. And here you see kind of like a teddy bear, but done with the gradient format. And here, flowers done with these circular gradients. Pretty wild experimental work. Again, I'd call it like indie digital art is how I like to call it. Buscar, Nuv 1914 again, and this looks like maybe a tennis player, but I'm not sure about that. Kind of maybe a ping pong net or maybe something completely different, a girl in the wilderness maybe. So more and some flowers kind of drawn on there. Wild work. And here finally, some flowers, and you see these gradients in the background. I just find this work really bold, interesting, and exciting. Horizonte. And again, kind of playing with that net at the top there. And the flowers, 3 Tezos, edition of 15, 11 on secondary. Here's someone I discovered on Instagram, Rapapon and Cynthia Fonzo. And I thought just an interesting animated illustration here. As you can see, kind of psychedelic here. And there, Animario, cool title. So that is pretty cool. And we also have here, this is Skitchism, ringing in the new year here. Let's see if this loads up. 2024 here, coming out of the turntable, and almost the dragon is coming out of the turntable. There's a little mushroom popping out of the clouds. And so really cool psychedelic illustrator, and there is the Grim Reaper playing the record as 2024 comes out in the style of a dragon. I mean, pretty amazing work here. This is on Solana, and look, I mean, more bids. This is what I'm seeing on Solana, and a whole bunch of friendly folk. 2.4 Sol, $245. Right now, it's sort of like that financial saying, money goes where it's treated best, and artists, it's a very similar thing. Solana is treating artists really, really well right now. Fear Extraction, Agugin, and this is an edition of 20, and I don't think I've seen this artist before, not sure. Illustration here, cool, is that the nervous system or circulatory? I'd assume nervous system here. And just a really, again, kind of just kind of psychedelic illustration here with a UFO at the top. Nice texture here. And a cat with all sorts of stuff going on. Kind of feels like body-ish in here too. And then underground, you almost see like dinosaurs, right? This in the stratigraphic layers, perhaps. I don't know. Just really interesting work. Fear extraction. Feel the fear and own it. Interesting work. Woman flirting with bartender. I thought this was great. Turkarak with always these kind of edgy drawings here or paintings, digital works. And here is the woman flirting with the bartender. And interesting kind of thick marker used here, or digital marker. 1 of 1. This is sold for 15 Tezos to Fascinated. And continuing as we start to wrap up here, Bosca Gracias with a couple of more from this Native Textures series. And here we see a Paul Gauguin, this great red, juxtaposed with the negative of some Italian painting here, I assume. I'm trying to think. I don't really recognize it. And I think, again, these are taken from photos that someone took in a museum that Bosque found in a shed, and now is using the negatives as the source for works. Really cool. Collage slide, broken or not. And again, playing with, at least on the left, we have a film negative, and on the right, kind of looks like a postcard or something, but could be an extract from a film negative too. Wonderful, wonderful series. And of course, you may recognize who this is. Again, capturing the zeitgeist here. Strange thing. Christmas in a kind of Renaissance painting, completely persuasively painted, I dare say, with a VR headset. I mean, just very, very cool. GM and Merry Christmas. I've been playing with my new toy, virtual reality goggles, I guess, and I think I'm going to be hooked for the next few weeks. Hope everyone has a great day, and all those who have supported me over the last year, thank you for being you. A happy holiday to Strange Thing. Marina Amadova, Celestial Serenity. So another cool Christmas AI work here. At first, I didn't realize this was AI, and then I thought, oh, it's Marina Amadova who does AI art. And so really nice piece, would make a great card. Celestial Serenity, great title too. Edition of 100, and there are 94 left at 3 Tezos. Resistance Persists by Ocote. So another kind of a different palette here, similar to the last one we were looking at that we started with, and from the Global South series. Another beautiful painting here from Ocote. And this is an edition of 13. There are 5 left for 250. And again, playing with this Global South kind of political narrative. And here's another one, Resistance's Song Thrives. So going back to the more traditional colors of this series. And here you see musicians and firearms, interestingly, by these people in the water here. Interestingly, seemingly in a Latin American location here. So again, interesting series. And here's Mikey Wilson with MF is this character that I have learned about through this show, interestingly, and being on Tezos here. And another just brilliant AI artwork here, as you can see all the details here, and almost this, I don't want to call it pixelated, just a really cool guitar here, made of these little pieces of wood, and just you look at the neck of the guitar, I think that's what you'd call it, just a beautiful piece. And look at these great brush strokes here. These brush strokes in the sky, these kind of square brush strokes, you see them on the guitar too. So that is interesting. And a moon right in the background, MF Blues, edition of 10 for 10 Tezos. There's 1 left. So selling well. And what is IANA? Do not rush. So, you know, if I, like, what I love about what is IANA is just this never, like, just persistence. Always trying new things. Just keeping on going here. And so here is another AI artwork. And here with a big spider and a vase and some flowers. Cool and experimental. And good colors here from What is IANA. Getting some positive feedback there from other AI artists, Sum and Marina. So that is cool. Continuing on, No Hygiene. So this experimental AI artist, No Hygiene, is on Solana here on exchange.art. So another interesting piece. Let's see if it got any bids. Let's see. zero point 0.3 Sol. Let's see if it gets some bids here. Made with Midjourney. Just cool, edgy AI artist here. And here is Joao Salazar with a very cool painting. I think is this a painting? Is this a painted computer? What is this? Because this looks like a photo of a studio. Like this looks very real over here. If you can see that, maybe it's like a box and maybe it's like a sculpture that is painted. That is probably what this is. This is like a painted sculpture, acrylic on canvas, work in progress screensaver. So that is pretty cool. Always interesting over there. And this, I think Mikey Wilson tweeted out, future, by this anonymous wallet here. And this is oil on canvas. So I'd say a pretty interesting and cool painting here as well with some Marvel superheroes. Deadpool, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the inverted Spider-Man mask behind some graffiti, or in front of some graffiti. Cool piece. And here's Tornado Rodriguez. I love my crazy mind. So just really nice pen work here from Tornado. Incredible skills, as Neutro says, indeed. And here is HP Lovebox, who was at the Twitter space. And really, that was really fun conversation. Thank you for stopping by, and stop by again. Here's some of, for those that listened, here's some of HP Lovebox's, we're talking about physical artwork here, so pretty nice work here. And I thought this piece especially, which I think we have a larger one, here we go. It's like the Dukes of Hazzard going over the Last Supper here. Pretty hilarious, if you ask me. So cool work from HP Lovebox. Another discovery here. And of course, this is Walk doing the Sims 2 cover here in almost in Walk's inimitable style here. Like, I mean, look at how brilliantly done. Every little speck of paint is done here. Continuing on, Palading Dong, Thorny Bloom, acrylic ink, and on watercolor paper. So look at how original this is. Continue to be kind of blown away at the originality, and there's something going on out there, and it's kind of, I'm seeing it on Instagram in the physical arts here. It's very impressive. You know, problemchild.advisory. Maybe this is Hale Jones is the name of the artist here. Just another interesting artist. You see a piano at the bottom, and then maybe a soccer field, and then 2 Dalmatians at the top. I mean, just wild, wild work here. And of course, we've been looking at Joachim Official, Spider-Man, a la Steve Ditko here, just gorgeously painted here. That'll be in Palm Beach with a Kristen Hilligerdi gallery. And here's Louis Rossignol with C-3PO and R2-D2 again, and there's Yoda, just brilliantly painted here as well. Yoda, not yogurt. And here, who's this? Kevin Ford. So just more great art here. Speaking to, like, you know, we were hearing the Documenta people talking about the zeitgeist. Like, for me, these kind of works here are more the zeitgeist of what's happening, the spirit of what we're seeing out here. DeLorean. Okia is Hohai. I'm not sure. So DeLorean maybe is the artist. But we saw this with, I want to say, another artist who works very similar to this, which is the car from different perspectives in one car, right? Interesting. I think it was this artist, Bobisik Mattia, with another super interesting work with this person with Lidl shopping bags, repeated kind of clown face, just super interesting. And there, of course, is Alex Gray. And what does Alex Gray have to say? For me, the story of Christ is a symbol of the eternal light of spirit in the heart of everyone. So Alex Gray does Christ, an interesting kind of multi-religion, what would you call that? A trans-religion, multi-religion thing going on here at the bottom. So Alex Gray does Christ. And that is your show, my friends. Thank you for joining me once again. I will see you tomorrow. Until next time, take care.